mic to make sure that you're not doubling with another station. If you don't hear anyone else talking, proceed to give your call sign, first phonetically and then normally, along with your name, your location, and if you have any comments, announcements, or traffic for the net operator. The purpose of this net is to provide training and information as it relates to emergency communications and providing communications assistance to various local, state, national public service agencies in addition to the civilian population in the event of an actual emergency. So at this time, I'm going to turn this net over to the regular net control operator, KI4QOB, so that he can continue on with the net tonight. Take it away, Lee.
Thank you, Charles. First, I'd like to say, anytime during the net, if anybody has any emergency key up and say break twice, as in break, and the frequency will be turned over to you for the duration of the emergency. Now, is there any prior emergency or priority traffic? Please come now. Hearing none, is there any NTS, National Traffic System, routine messages to be passed at this time? Please come now. Hearing none, is there any mobile, portable, or short-term station? Please come now.
Recognizing KE4OBE, Brother Mike out of Carrollton. It's good to hear you tonight, Mike. You're coming in nice and crisp. Back to net.
Is there any more mobile, portable, or short-term station? Please come now.
This is Kilo 4, Yankee Tango Mike, KK4 YTM. The name is Frank in North Carolina. Short time tonight. KK4 YTM, Brother Frank out of Coweta. It's good to hear you tonight, Frank. Hope all is well with you and yours. Take care. Appreciate you checking in. Back to net.
Any more mobile, portable, or short-term stations? Come now. Hearing none, let's go to Indy Alpha, November, Whiskey Station. Please come now.
This is Whiskey X-Ray 4 Bravo Kilo WX4DK, Brian and Temple.
This is. Oh, there you go.
This is Whiskey Delta 8, Lima, Quebec Tango, WD8LQT, John and Fairfield.
This is November 4 Bravo Whiskey Romeo N4 BWR Blake and Carrollton.
This is November 4 Charlie India Papa and 4 CIP. Scott near Douglasville. This is Whiskey X-Ray 4 Sugar Kilo Yankee WX4 SKY Scott in Coweta County.
KC4, HNX, Roger, out of D-Ville. Good to hear you tonight, Roger. Hope all is well with you and yours. Back to that.
Any more kilo stations, please come now.
This is
On the doubling.
KM4, KRG, Kilo 54, Kilo Romeo Golf. Andrew and Bremen at the moment. I'm going to be short time tonight.
Morning to you there, Lee, Charlie, and everyone else on the net tonight.
This is Kilo Mike 4, Bravo Yankee Hotel, KM4, DYH, Wayne, Douglasville. This is KM4, KRG. That's Kilo Mike 4, Kilo Romeo Golf. Andrew, I'm in Bremen. I'm going to be short time tonight. Okay, let me just jump in here. Man, I've been trying to scratch all of this out. KM4, KRG, Brother Andrew, out of Buchanan. Short time tonight. Be careful out there driving, Andrew. KB4RN, Brother Rich, out of Villarica, Douglasville, rather. And we also have KM4 BYH, our president, Wayne, out of Douglasville. So, welcome to the, net, all three of you. Back to net.
Is there any more kilo stations, please come now. I think there was double, was there, Charles?
There was any station out there that I did not call and recognize, would you please call back in the net control, please? Charles, your double was Andrew and Rich. They were the ones that doubled. You got them both there. This is KM4 BYH. Yeah, okay. I knew they had doubled and I sorted them out, but that's why I was scrambling around here trying to get things written down. So I didn't know if there was somebody else that got lost in the weeds. Appreciate Wayne. Back to net control.
But Charles, I didn't realize you got it. I'm sorry, my friend. Any more kilo stations, please come now.
This is Kilo Victor 4 Tango Echo, KV4DE, Jason Villarica.
This is Kilo Mike 4 Whiskey Juliet Golf, KM4WJG, and by relay KM4WJI, Kilo Mike 4 Whiskey Juliet India, Mike and Kay in Tallapoosa, Georgia. Good evening to the net.
Recognizing KV4TE, Brother Jason out of Villarica, KM4WJG, and KM4WJI, Mike and Kay, both in Tallapoosa. Welcome, all of you. Back to net.
I'll open up the net. Any station, any prefix, please come now. Hearing none, let's go to Crane with WH4BK.
This is WX4BK. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Charles. Boy, we ought to all be just about netted out this week. Wow, what a week, especially yesterday. And first thing I want to do is say thanks to a few folks who really put the extra effort in managing net control, and that's N4BWR Blake, who I think actually cranked it up in the morning, KK4CTV Charles, who had work to do as well, but still managed to help us out running the net from time to time, KF4QLB Lee, And he spent a considerable amount of time asking the question. Blake then put a call out for any station that was in the area. I immediately keyed up and threw my call sign out, and when I let go of the mic, the guy from NWS was busily talking again. He queued up so quick I didn't even have time to break in and tell him I actually could report what he was looking for. That actually repeated itself a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I invited that individual to wait for us on the 895 repeater, or actually reported the data, but then invited him to wait for us on the 895 repeater because it was tying up our repeater too much. He wasn't allowing a window for someone to break in. So be mindful of that. We all do it. I've been guilty of it. Notice I did it today. So just try to be mindful of that when you're operating, but even day to day, because what we do day to day on the repeater is what we're going to do in an emergency. So try to get in the habit of letting that repeater drop a little bit and leave an opening for someone to get in there when necessary. The other thing is try to be aware of your audio. We've got some folks that have really low audio, and we have had a couple of people come in that the audio is so hot it's distorted. We don't know how we sound, so let's not be shy with each other talking about how the audio sounds, and please don't take it personal if somebody may have said something to you about your audio in an effort to improve our ability to communicate on the radio. So those are two things that sort of came up yesterday. I do want to quickly go into some reporting procedures, but I want to make this part quick and let everybody get on with their evening. I realize you don't want to spend all night listening to that one. We do have a standard operating procedures for weather nets and weather protocols, and it includes guidelines from the National Weather Service to help us report the information in a way that the National Weather Service is looking for. You can go to the WGARS repeater
Website.
click on nets from the menu at the top, and down at the bottom of the description of the nets, you will see resources, and one of those is the WeatherNet protocol. I know some of y'all have gotten it and looked at it. I would invite others to take a look. It talks about the kind of nets we run, what kind of information we expect to be passed, and as well as common descriptions. The National Weather Service looks for certain key information that's being given. That information is shortened to a little acronym we call TLC. Thanks again, folks. With that, I'm going to hand it over to net control, and then we'll go to the round table. WX4BK, back to net.
This is KI4QLV and KK4CTV on the W4FW repeater. Take it away, Lee.
I'd like to echo what Brian said. I want to thank each one for your check-ins. And now, is there any late check-ins? Please come now. Hearing none, let's go to training with WX4BK.
Thanks again, Lee. So this is where we normally go to any questions or comments regarding tonight's presentation, but also if you have any other related information for the good of the cause, please feel free to pass that along as well. So anybody with questions, comments, or information for the good of the cause, please call now.
And for BWR.
Okay, I'm pretty sure two people doubled there. I got KI4QLV. If you'll hang on a second, Lee, I want to see who that other station is, and then I can come back to you and then call on them.
And for BWR, I think that was the other station.
Alrighty, Blake, I'll go ahead and take care of Lee first and come around to you. KI4QLV, you have the service.
Brian, what's the proper interval between keying up?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a really set rule, Lee. What I normally do is when someone's done talking, you can usually hear that moment of silence and sort of a little sound when the repeater drops. Now, if you've got tone blocking, maybe you don't hear that. That's probably about a second, second and a half. So I think if you give it about a second and a half, 2 seconds, that just gives someone a time. If they really want to get in there, they can key that mic during that second, second and a half to start talking, and you'll know they're talking and not key up. So I generally figure something like that. I use the repeater trail. I can still hear it. So when I hear that repeater drop after a transmission ends, I'll usually give it just a brief pause right after that, and then I'll key up. But I don't know if there's a set rule for it, but I guess that's a rule of thumb to go by.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lee. That was a good question, and that goes back to what I said, that you really want to let the repeater drop before the next person picks up, so you can wait to hear that repeater drop. You know, at the very least, you've left a window there for someone to get in, and the repeater's had a chance to drop the carrier. N4 BWR, the floor is yours, sir.
This is N4BWR. I've got two things. One of them relates to a topic you addressed in the net, and the other is just some general club info. First of all, I want to say you were talking about people not knowing what their audio sounds like. For the past few Thursday night nets, I have been live streaming them on Facebook, and once that stopped recording, it's permanently there on Facebook, and I've also been posting it on my YouTube channel. Look for Blake81 on YouTube. I try to do it, as quickly as I can after the net, so it might take a little bit for it to upload and process, but there's an opportunity there. I started just doing it just to get the club out there a little bit, but it's also a little opportunity there for you to hear what you sound like. Maybe adjust your audio, adjust an antenna or something. And also, the club now has a Twitter account. For anyone on Twitter, it's the club's call sign, Whiskey 4 Foxtrot Whiskey Delta. And just general information and stuff. And I'm going to try to see if how well that'll go. If there's any National Weather Service type alerts, to tweet them as quickly as I get them back to net.
Thank you, task list, so thanks again. And that recording is good. I gotta admit, my voice does not sound anything the way it sounds in my own head. So if you can look at that, I think he said Blake 81 on YouTube.
Yeah.
It would be worth playing back yourself on YouTube, if nothing else, to hear what you really sound like. Okay, any other stations with questions, comments, or other information for the good of the cause, please call now.
KK4CTV.
KK4CTV, go ahead, sir.
On the location, you know, with TLC, if I am at a location that I already have the coordinates, GPS coordinates, could I not provide that, or are they still looking for roads with reference to a crossroad or something else of that nature? Because I think I could do the GPS coordinates on the two locations I'd most likely be at, but I don't know if that would suffice. What's your comment?